Hey guys, would you like to see this painting from start to finish? Let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing that I do is that I usually do a really quick sketch. Basically the sketch is to have an idea of what I want to do. In this case I had the idea of doing like some Viking swords on the forest and that kind of stuff. So you see that I quickly jump into 3D. I basically rely too much on 3D because I'm really insecure about my line drawing skills. So I use 3D to get basically the drawing, you know. I'm not using very crazy techniques here. My modeling skills are pretty basic. I'm using Modo. I found Modo to be really a good 3D software for me. You see that I'm using some boxes on the environment so that I can get the perspective if I want to add another thing. I basically draw on top of the 3D models. So I do this to refine the idea of what I want to do. I quickly jump into flattening the colors on the scene. You saw there I was looking at a lot, I mean when I say a lot, I mean a lot of references from Studio Ghibli, and I love those guys' work, and I think that the colors that they choose are really cool. So I use them a lot. I'm not ashamed of it. I color pick them. I color pick them a lot. So you see me there, I'm flattening the colors. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to organize my layers. It is really important to organize your layers so you can work more efficiently. Gosh, my English, dude, my English can't wait to get better. See me there, I'm painting like a door. Yeah, I'm painting the door, dudes. I started working on I don't know what I started working on the background a little bit. This was the first time that I was going to draw like a forest like this. I mean, indicating the forest on a painting. So I was learning at the same time of how to do it, but I was looking at a lot of Ghibli references. And one of the things that I learned is that making a forest is a layering process. So you have to have it's kind of hard to explain, but if you think about it as a layer, just build on top of layer, and you only have to worry about the first layer, and then you can jump to another one. I know that it's pretty big what I'm saying, but I found that really helpful. You see me there, I'm painting, for example, painting those light parts, and everything is on a different layer. And when you start to add a lot of layers, the forest start to come to life. So that's one of the tips that I can give you about that. Maybe I will do a tutorial about how to paint forest like that, how to indicate forest like that later. I'm using the Eclipse mask to paint on top of on the selection. I don't want to get out of the selection. Yeah, probably color picking the reference. I color pick a lot, and I was looking at, you see me there, that is the layer that makes the forest come to life when I add the light coming from the sky and that kind of stuff on the trees, and you start to see that the forest start to come to life. So yeah, come pretty quickly, but yeah, it was a layering process. Yeah, maybe I will do a tutorial about that later. As you can see, light is very important to me. I pay attention to, I don't know why, but I always liked when the light is interesting in the scene. What else? Wow, forest. Oh yeah. Right there I'm using the the mixer brush technique that I talked about on the past, but I'm using it on a different way. Basically I'm painting a square, and I'm sampling the square, and I'm using a brush that have a leaf. It's a brush to make leaf, but because I'm sampling the square, the leaf have color variation on them. If you want to know more about that technique, there must be a tutorial popping out there in the video where I talk about the my black magic brushes, I call it that way. So yeah, one of the things I should for the background, still using this technique, you know, just doing it, just painting it. I will start to jump on the, you see me there, using like the stamp brushes that my key batch brushes that I created. Yeah, painting forest. Oh yeah, this is so entertaining, guys. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Oh yeah, look at me painting. Oh yeah, boy. I don't know what happened today to me. I will start to add some rocks because I thought adding some rocks on the forest would be a good idea. This painting was having a lot of fun. I was really inspired by Gilby, and still am, but yeah, but I wanted to keep doing. I actually want to keep doing paintings like this. I think that they are interesting to look at, and I enjoy the process, and I learn a lot from looking at Ghibli's paintings so much. Those guys are amazing. I mean, the amount of details that they put on the backgrounds are incredible. I mean, it's incredible. I will jump into the grass in a moment. I remember that I struggled with this part a lot because I don't know, it was a little bit weird to add like at the trees on the back. It was a little bit weird. I wasn't sure about the scale relationship inside the forest and how big or how small the tree trunk should be. So you see there, I'm talking about the I'm applying my layering method to the grass. If you see me there, I started with a base and I started to add color variation on top of it. I'm using different brushes. I'm using a brush that is, I'm using a brush for the foreground, a brush for the middle ground, a different brush for the background, and using different color variation and for example lighter or darker colors. I'm working on the swords right now. There is a problem with the scale of the painting. If you can see there, the door is making the painting look a little bit weird. It's making the swords looks I don't know, weird. I will work on the door later. So right now I'm working on the swords, and I was looking at the reference to see where the light was coming from. You see me there switching between my 3D layer and my normal layer. It's because I'm basically grabbing the light information and paint on top of it. I was using some crazy brushes, some heavy texture brushes to paint the swords. Those swords are from a reference that I saw some Viking swords on the forest. It was really interesting, and I wanted to play with that idea. So that's why I had the idea of creating this painting like with 3 swords, and you know, 3 swords in the forest. Oh yeah, that will be so cool. That was my thinking process. It's so lame, but yeah, that's what I did. I added like a rust later. We'll add rust to the swords. So yeah. So talking about the light information, I usually like to play with the lighting. I like when paintings have very interesting lighting. I like that in movie as well. When I see a movie and I see a light information that I like, I usually screen grab the movie frame and I save it on a folder. For me, light is very important. I don't know, it's one of the most beautiful things of a painting, I think. Being able to manipulate, to play around with the light, I think that's a very important thing, and I really enjoy to do that. So next time, think about the light, guys. Pay attention to the light. I usually sometimes I usually think about the light first, and then I think about what I'm going to do. That's pretty crazy, I know. So I'm starting to add a little bit fog to the forest. You see me there? I paint. This was one of those times, man. I painting all the door like a door frame. I don't know. That was a stupid idea. It was the stupidest idea ever. I think like a door. You can't tell if the door was big, was small, or what was doing there. But I spent a lot of time working on it. This painting took 8 hours to do. More, yeah, like 8 hours. So if the video is really fast, it's because the painting took 8 freaking hours. That was a lot of time. I don't know why, but I decided to add these symbols to make it look quote unquote better. The door was pretty much finished. The door was pretty much done. I mean, I did everything. I kept working on it, trying to see what was happening, why the door wasn't interesting, or what was happening to the painting. But no, man. The problem is that the door itself is not. It's not how well or how bad is the door painted, you know. So yeah, I don't know what happened today. I don't know what happened to me today. Yeah, I'm just crazy right now. I painted some totems, some Viking totems. Yeah, I saw these totems on some references, and I wanted to add some like a weird rock totems on the foreground. The idea of the totem came about me wanting to add something to the foreground to make the painting look more three-dimensional. If you see there, every time that I have a hard time painting the light of something, English Eddie, I usually draw a sphere and I light the sphere. And when you do that, you will have all the angles that you need. So basically, after that, you can just color pick the sphere to the angle that you want to paint on the model. I don't know if that makes sense, but Sam Nielsen have a fantastic schoolism class about that. He's really good. So I learned how to light my stuff based on his tutorial. Basically, he's a really good painter too. So I started to duplicate the totems. As you see, I'm not painting all of them from scratch because I don't need to. I just color pick them and change the color information, the variation, paint a little bit on top and modify, and yeah, so the totems are ready. See me there, I'm trying to add some crazy more vegetation, but I think that I removed that one. Yeah. You see me there, I'm using my kit bash brushes on the foreground elements. So that saves a lot of time, and those brushes are amazing. I want to keep working on those brushes. I want to keep adding brushes like that. I think that they are pretty cool, and we can save a lot of time doing that. Keep working on the background. This part is the finishing touches. I don't know what was happening there. There was some crazy colors, and I don't know if you could see that, but yeah, some crazy colors going on. Some light information, some color variation. Every time you see me adding color variations like that, it's because I saw it on Studio Ghibli. Those guys, I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they do that. But they added like you see me there, the blues, they are very colorful and colorful. I started to add rocks. See me, they're still struggling with it, and I finally decided to get rid of it and started to make like two wooden destructive pieces of wood. I think that makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, I like this painting. I think that the colors looks good. I'm proud of it. I think that there are things that could be better. The scale was an issue. I wanted the sword to feel massive, but because of the trees on the ground, I think that I didn't accomplish that. So yeah, lesson for the next painting, Eddie. Pay attention to that kind of stuff. Alright, so this is the painting, guys. Almost done. Right there. Oh yeah, boy.